오래전이죠. 미국에서 우리 한국의 정동섭 교수를 초청을 했어요.
And it was a long time ago, but in the U.S. invited Dr. Chung Dong-sup from Korea to visit.
미국의 전 교육자가 다 모였어요.
And all the pastors in America gathered for that
그
meeting.
정동섭 교수에게 강의 부탁을 한 겁니다.
And they requested that Dr. Chung Dong-sup give a lecture.
강의 내용이 뭔가 하니까 다락방 유광수 목사가 전도가 못하도록 확실하게 이단임을 좀 밝혀달라 하는 집회였습니다.
And what was the topic and content of that conference? It was, please share in concise and very clear detail why Reverend Yu Kwang-soo is the leader of a heresy so that we can prevent 다락방 from carrying out the evangelism movement in America.
뭐 20년 전쯤 얘기입니다.
It was 20 or plus years back.
근데 이분이 다행스러운 거는 학자인데 목사가 아니고 장로님이에요.
And Dr. Chung Dong-sup, he is a scholar. He's not a pastor, he's an elder.
그러다 보니까 조금 동기가 좀 적지요 아무래도.
And so he wasn't pushed by any other ulterior motives.
그래도 목사님들보다는 순수하지 장로님이니까.
So because he's not driven by those motives, he was perhaps a little bit more pure in heart than many of these pastors who have a hidden agenda.
밤새 연구를 한 거더라고.
He studied 다락방 ministry all night long.
이분이 밤새 잠 안 자고 연구를 한 거예요.
He went with many sleepless nights looking into this material.
이분이 대단한 학자입니다.
He's a very distinguished scholar.
아무리 자기가 연구를 해봐도 아니다는 거예요.
No matter how much he researched this, he couldn't prove that
문제가
this is a
없다는 거예요.
heresy. He said there's no problem here.
그래서 아침에 강의하기 전에 눈을 떠서 기도하고 자기가 한국과 미국에 정말 믿을 만한 사람에게 전화를 했대요.
And so in the morning, before going to the lecture, he began to pray and he thought, who can he call in Korea and America that he truly trusts? And he made a phone call to that person.
유광수에 대해서 어떻게 생각하느냐라고 미국에도 묻고 한국에도 물었대요.
So he asked the person that he most trusts, his confidants in the U.S. as well as in Korea, what they think about Reverend Yu.
네, 정말 믿을 만한 사람들인데 그분들이 하는 말이 똑같이 절대 이단 아니다 그러더래요.
And these are people that he truly trusts. And both of those individuals told him he is not a heretic.
그래서 이분이 강의를 해야 되는데 결단 낸 거예요.
So he had to go and give the lecture. He
그
had to make a
강의
resolution.
내용이 영상으로도 나와서 이분이 계속 말하다가 물을 마시고
So you can even see the lecture. There are video clips of that lecture even now.
얘기했어요.
So as he's speaking, he continues to drink water.
밤새 기도하고 연구해봤다.
He said, you know, all night long I researched this and studied it thoroughly.
나는 그 사람 모르는데 하나님 앞에서 양심상 전혀 잘못된 데가 없다.
I don't know Reverend Yu Kwang-soo personally, but standing before God, conscientiously speaking, there's nothing wrong with what he's
미국에서
teaching.
그렇게 막확 들고 있는 거예요.
That's what he said in America, and so this created so many repercussions.
잘못 말을 했지 그 말을 했냐 말이에요.
And they were saying, we told you to lecture the opposite topic to that.
강의 중단.
And so they stopped the lecture mid-sentence. He was chased out.
한국에 연락했어요.
They contacted Korea.
그 대학에 연락했어요.
They contacted
이분
the
강의 시키지
university
마라.
where he's teaching, saying you shouldn't allow him to speak.
그 이분이 한국을 다 와가지고 막 자기가 막 몸에 문제가 올 정도로 스트레스를 주더라는 거예요.
So Dr. Chung, he returned back to Korea, but he had such high levels of stress that he was even
저를
even
한번
experiencing
만나자
physical problems.
이러더라고요.
And so I wanted to meet with
만났어요.
him, and I met with him,
여러 가지 이렇게 물어보더라고요.
and he asked me a few questions.
마지막으로 하나 딱 묻는 게 있어요.
And there was a final question he posed.
그 목사님은 다른 거는 필요 없고 전도만 하면 된다고 하신다면서요. 이라는 거예요.
He asked me, Pastor, I heard that you say nothing else is needed. All we need to do is evangelize.
좀 외골수다 이거지. 딱 그 교수님 손을 잡고 얘기했어요.
And so in other words, what he I think wanted to say in a nice way, and in a roundabout way, was that I just keep to myself.
교수님은 교수 왜 합니까? 물어봤어요.
And so I asked the professor, why do you serve as a professor?
우리가 전도운동 복음전환 안 하려면 왜 합니까?
And I said to him, if we're not trying to do the gospel or evangelism movement, then why should we carry out this
그리스도가
ministry?
다 아닙니까?
Isn't Christ everything?
그래서 전도는 모든 것입니다.
That's why in that regard I say that evangelism is everything.
맞습니다.
And he said, that's right.
전화번호 한 개 주더라고요.
He gave me a contact
뭡니까?
number. I said, what is it?
여기는 건강을 아주 잘 체크하는 병원이니까 가보라는 거예요.
He said, this is a hospital that does really good full body checkups, and why
그
don't you
말은
visit?
죽지 말고 오래 살아라 그 말이죠.
I think what he wanted
알겠습니다.
to say to me was, you know, stay healthy, don't die on me.